Do you love the survival shows but not the drama? Do you ever wonder if the skills they show are for real? Come with Justin Wolf and Larry Roberts as they show what it takes to really do what they show on TV. Watch them as they act out different scenarios and show you the common mistakes most people make when faced with the tough choices you can be faced with when all does not go as planned in the wild.
So oftentimes in popular reality TV shows, the individuals are given items that are definitely not meant for survival situations or camping, and they have to make do with those items. Well, today, the missus and the daughter are dropping Dad off at the river, and my wife has a box full of items that Larry Roberts told her to pack up and send with me. Now, I have no idea what items are in this box, and it's actually kind of driving me nuts, because it's one of those things where who doesn't want to know what they have to use in order to stay warm and dry and hydrated and all that fun stuff. But it's part of the fun not knowing, and Larry is going through the exact same thing because I sent his wife a message and told her to pick up some items. Now, the items that I left for Larry, I think I hooked him up pretty good, because these are items that definitely will come in handy. I left him, you know what? I'm not going to tell you guys. Go over to his channel, check out his video, because I think he'll do pretty good with it. It's going to be an interesting day because, as you can see, there's a bunch of snow blowing across the roads. It's windy. When we left the house, I think it was about 16, 17 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's pretty cold. And with the wind chill and everything, it's not going to be a pleasant experience, but it's going to be fun, I think. Now, a couple other things that I failed to mention was these items are the only items that I can use, so I don't have any other items on my possession. We're allowed to have our clothing, and that's pretty much it. So as far as cutting tools go, well, that can be kind of a sick joke, because the wives, both Larry's and mine, get to choose our cutting tools, so it's going to be interesting to find out what they have chosen.
Take a look at what we got here. These are fresh beaver chews all over the place, all the way back up into there. And you can actually see, if I get down here, you can actually see their slide. Let's go take a look. I didn't get to do any trapping this year, so seeing things like that makes me really miss it. Now, due to the weather, in my mind, my first priority should be shelter, because right now it's cold enough to where it's a dry snow. But where I live, it can warm up very quickly. So if it was to warm up a little bit, these snow flurries and stuff are going to turn into rain. and that is a dangerous thing. So right now, like I said, I'm looking for a place that I know I can hunker down, but I'm also trying to find something that nature has helped me with, so I don't have to do a lot of work. Okay, well, I have to stop because I'm about to overheat. So I'm going to take a layer off real quick and just kind of relax, cool down just a bit. We're going to take a look in this box and see what we've got. Sounds like chain or something like that rattling around in there. It's going to be interesting, so let's see, shall we? Okay, so we've got a roll of duct tape, which that's really good. I could definitely use that. That's for sure. What in the... beer. Nice. Okay. Book of matches? Oh, one match. We're going to put that somewhere dry. Okay, so we've got duct tape, we've got beer, a trash bag. Oh boy, this is not a very good trash bag neither. Yeah, see, the first thing I did is smell it. It's scented, which means that is no good for potable water. Had this been a heavy-duty trash bag, non-scented, man, I could have done something pretty. I could probably have lined this box and filled this box up with water and had a pretty decent amount of water handy. But the fact that it's scented, that, I don't know. Still use it as a poncho or something along them lines. So that must be my cutting tool. Pair of used and abused scissors. Okay. My wife had talked about using scissors. I didn't know if she was serious, but apparently she was. And this last thing looks like a very old purse. Oh goody. What in the world am I going to do with a purse? I guess the same thing I'd do with a haversack, huh? Wonder if this... I was hoping that that liner was waterproof. I could use this as a container to hold a bunch of water, but it's not. Okay, well, I'm going to put all my items in my purse. Larry, thanks a lot, man. A purse, really? I mean, the beer was great. Don't get me wrong, the beer was great. But a purse? Come on, man. Duct tape? That's great. All right. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so the idea, what I'm going for right now, is I'm going to use this spot right here to kind of put my back against. It's not really going to be a laying down type shelter. I'm going to try to sit up, and I'm going to try to put a very crude top on it. I might close in the side just a little bit. I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll see. And then out here, just out here, I'll have a fire. Try to keep myself warm. Okay, there's been a change of plans. As you can see, I've started putting up a wall right here so that way I can have something as a foundation so I can lay smaller debris and stuff around. Well, the change of plan is simple. Originally, I was going to curl up right there, but when I come in here, and now that I see this wall being formed, and I also have a thing overhead where it'd be very easy for me to make a little roof, makes more sense for me to sit right in between these two logs right here on the ground. So I'm going to focus on this spot here versus this spot, and then I can still clear out a small place over here for a fire. So that's the plan as of right now. Okay, I am going to need a cutting tool here in a second. I'm thinking that the scissors alone, just as they are, might help me with my roof, because you can see that I'm packing it with smaller debris and stuff. Well, we have this grass and everything here. Now if you go ripping at this with your bare hands, it might cut you up pretty good, so I can use these scissors and just come in here and use them just like a pair of scissors. Cut this stuff up, bring it back in chunks like this. Snap it over, and I can really start packing this in just like that, or at least that's the idea anyway. So I'm going to lay all of my foundation work like this right here, and then I will pack it up with that with the grass and just kind of layer it in. At least that's the plan. So just with that little bit of grass on there, let's come in here for a second. Oh yeah, see, you can already tell. Let me crawl in here. You can already tell that it's starting to feel a little bit more cozy in here. Just a little bit. But it's not good enough. We've still got work to do. Well, as you can see, it's crude, but the wind's off of me now. The snow's blowing over the top, not blowing on me. Got a nice good bedding layer down. This is certainly something that I would not be happy with if I knew I was going to be here for an extended period of time. But if it's a temporary thing, then I would be happy with this. Due to movie magic, it made it look like this went up in 10 minutes. All reality, I've been working on this for a couple hours now. So, trying to cut all your bedding with a pair of scissors, it's a long time to do it. So anyway, give you an outside look at this thing, and we'll see what else we can get accomplished. Grass was a godsend. All right, fellas. All that work, I am thirsty. So originally I thought, man, I wish I could use that to line this box with. But obviously if it's got odor in it, I don't want those chemicals in my drinking water. Got a beer, I can boil my water in this, but to boil it and then wait for it to cool, go back out there to the river, fill it up, come back, that's just a lot of unnecessary work. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to attempt to take this duct tape right here and line the box with duct tape and see if I can get it to where it will hold water. This is definitely something I've never tried, but no time like now. This little shelter that I've got going on is actually kind of cozy, to be honest with you. But at least my wife sprung and got me the good duct tape. She should be ashamed of herself giving me a cheap garbage bag like that. God, Heather. Alright fellas, well, in that, it probably took me about 30 minutes to probably do this. And in that time, the cold really settled in because I wasn't working. So I started to get kind of cold, so I had to put my top layer back on. But here's what we got. Basically lined the whole inside of that box with duct tape, and then also wrapped a little bit around the outside. Is this going to hold water? I have no idea. I mean, in theory it should. I hope it does because I used, you know, not a terrible amount of duct tape, but I still used quite a bit of duct tape on this. So if it doesn't work, that's resources that I've just lost. So let's take it down to the river and keep our fingers crossed that it holds water, because I'd like to get it back here. I would like to start thinking about getting a fire going and get warm. You know, actually, before we go down there, I am not going to just dip this box down in the water, obviously. I need to bail water from the river into it. That's where the beer comes in. Now, I completely understand that drinking alcohol in a situation where you're limited on your water supply and everything else isn't necessarily good. It's going to dehydrate you a little bit, but I have a river at my disposal. So I've got plenty of water, so drinking this beer would not be bad. The only downside of drinking this beer is cold. And putting this cold liquid into me is going to chill me even more. So am I going to drink all of this beer? No. Am I going to drink some of this beer? Yeah, it's a beer. Not much of a Budweiser guy, but beer's beer. Yep, that cold liquid going in me, not good. So I'm going to get rid of the rest of this. I'm going to go get some water, see if we can get some warm liquid into us. This is going to be a long process. Might have to scout around, see if I can find a bigger container or something that I can just quickly, doesn't have to hold the water, but at least quickly So far so good, no leaks yet. As you can see, I didn't fill it up all the way to the top. I don't want a whole lot of force on it because, I mean, let's just face it, it's a fragile container. Let me hold it up and show you. It does have a few small leaks in it. It's something that I can try to patch up a little bit later though. Right now, I just want to start getting some liquid in me, get a fire going. Alright, so you can see that it's got some slow drips on it. It's better than nothing. We tried, you know. It's one of those things where things, in theory, that should have worked quite well. Maybe I just didn't, maybe I should have went back over it with another layer. I don't know. Like I said, I've never tried to turn a cardboard box and duct tape into a container that would hold a good amount of water. But point is it's holding the water long enough for me to drink it. So in my eyes, that's a plus. All right. No room for error here, that's for sure. Alright, that water, she's in there boiling around now. Don't know if you guys can see in there or not. She's boiling. So we're just going to take her off, set her to the side. Let her cool down a little bit. Now, we got warmth. Got shelter, got water. Now let's dig around in this thing and see what we can come up with this exotic looking stripper purse. You know, to be completely honest with you, I don't want to do a whole lot at all, if anything, with that garbage bag. I kind of want to save that, if there was, if it was to warm up and this snow was to turn into rain or something, and I needed to keep that water from soaking me. So I'm going to leave that alone. But I think is what I am going to do is, I haven't had the need to use these as a cutter yet or anything, but who's to say that if I was here long term I wouldn't. So I just cut a flap off of that, and I'm just gonna wrap it over like that, and I'm just gonna wrap it in duct tape, and it's just going to do nothing more than to give me something to hang on to without slicing open my hand. As far as the purse goes, I mean, it's bright colors. I could use it for a signaling device if I wanted to, possibly. Cut it open, make it a little bit larger. So I slip that on there like that. Now I can actually use this without risking cutting my fingers, and then remove it if I want to actually use it to cut tinder and all that fun stuff. So I don't really want to do a lot with that. Duct tape wise, I could make some, is what I could do. I don't know that I have the means to do it. I guess, those are pretty dang thick. Trying to find a way. Oh wait, that one, I might be able to bend that one off. Is what I could do is I could try to get a stick and wedge in here, spread this open, take that ring off and put it through the beer can, and then make some cordage from this, so that way I could suspend it over the fire, raise and lower it if I needed to, instead of using that stick. That I could do if I could bend that off, which I'm not going to be able to by hand. But I think if I find a strong enough stick, I could wedge it. This is going to be way too punky. That'll never work. That's something I will see if I can find a stick for. Try to just take this stick through here. I'm just going to try to twist this. Well, wasn't the ring that I was after. But it'll work. Maybe. Come on, get up there. Now I can fish that through there. And if anything, I don't need to make cordage for it. If anything, it's just at least I have a nice ring on it, so that way I can put a stick through it, lift it off and on the fire a lot easier than what I can with that pull tab. So this is cooled down enough to drink now, and what I did is I just put a hole through both sides and fished that through there, so now I can just run a stick through there a lot easier than that pull tab. And who's to say that I wouldn't eventually want to try to make a fishing hook or something like that out of that pull tab. So yeah. That's pretty horrible. But it's water. Much needed water.
For anybody that thought Clothed Confident was all fun and games, well, this has been a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's very cold, a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun also. I hope you guys enjoy it. So Larry, you're going to be mad at me here in a second because after I drink this water, I got a trick for you, man. You just think you got away with sending me all these bare necessities and all that fun stuff. So what am I going to do with if this fire goes out? How am I going to get another fire going? I guess I could make cordage with duct tape, make a bow drill. Never tried that. Seems like it would be very difficult, something that would be fun to try. We might have to do that for another Clothed Confident episode. See if we can make a bow drill using duct tape as the cordage. But anyway, I had a trick up my sleeve. Let me drink this water and show you guys. So we had talked about if we were going to be able to use any other tools besides the ones that we had our wives pack up for us. And we decided that no, we wasn't. Use whatever clothes we want, but other than that, no tools. Well, part of my clothing is my belt. And on that belt, if you guys can see that, that is a hand-forged belt buckle that I made that also doubles as an awl, scraping tool, and a steel striker. So yeah, you guessed it, I'm going to find some punk wood, I'm going to throw in that can, and then go out to the river, see if I can find a piece of quartz or something, so that way I have the ability to make another fire if this one goes out. Alright, we got a big chunk of this stuff here. Start breaking it up in smaller pieces. Let's just start putting it in this can here. Now yes, there's moisture in the can. Doesn't matter. Some people want to know what punk wood is. And what punk wood is, guys, is it's nothing more than rotted wood. And sometimes you can find the stuff that termites has gotten to, and it's real spongy feeling. You know, kind of feels like a cork. You know, like a wine cork or something like that. Real spongy feeling. Real light, just like a wine cork. Feels like a wine cork. In fact, if you was to take a wine cork and char it, it'd probably work pretty dang good. It's something I might have to try. And the reason why I always like using charred tinders versus char cloth is because this is readily available in every woodland area that you'll ever enter. And it's not hard to find. I mean, this stuff is very easy to find. And with a little bit of practice, it is very simple to get it to take an ember. I mean, you guys have seen me do flint and steel on hundreds of occasions now. So that's why I like it. Char cloth is great for when you first start trying to learn flint and steel, but you eventually want to try to wean yourself off of it and go with charred tinders, because in a long-term, you know, situation or scenario, if you have to cut up your clothing to make char cloth, you're doing it wrong. I mean, nature provides you with everything that you need in order to make a good charred material, so take advantage of it. But again, ain't nothing wrong with learning with char cloth at all. And if you want to just stay with char cloth, then, well, that's your choice too. But very, very spongy. You can see how I can actually push into that, and it's not breaking up. Just very spongy. That's what you want. That's the good stuff.
You freaking kidding me right now? Look at this. I just found a flippin' cooler. Here I just lined that box with duct tape. And here's a cooler. Holds water just fine. That is hysterical. And that's why I've always said utilize the trash that you find, especially on a river, because you never know what you're gonna find. A frickin' cooler. That right there is a nice chunk of quartz. Now whether or not it's gonna be worth a crap, I don't know, but let's go see if we can get it. Alright, now this is important for everybody to understand. Yes, I have that steel striker on my belt buckle. Yes, I was able to find a piece of quartz. However, I got this piece of quartz out of the river. Obviously, erosion is going to round it off. Now, I know where I can find quartz that hasn't been in the river, but it's snow right now. I can't see through the snow. So if I can't see through the snow, my only other option at this particular moment was to find a piece in the river because I can see it. Now the problem is, how do I break this in order to get another sharp edge? We do not have big rocks in this area. We don't have flint or chert or anything like that. All we have is quartz and creek rock. But all the creek rock are this size and smaller. Finding a piece of rock in this area that's the size of a $50 is very difficult, very difficult. It's basically a sandy area. So the only thing that I can think of is if I was able to find another couple pieces of rock, you know, put this one, sandwich it in, and then club the crap out of it with a stick and hope that I can find this piece after I do that. Chances are it's going to be pretty difficult, if slim to none. So right now, the important thing for me to do would be to make sure that I never let this fire die. Because if I had to rely on flint and steel and this piece of quartz, it'd be pretty difficult. Now obviously, while I'm out moving around and everything, I'm still going to be looking for that right piece, but it may not happen, and I may not find another piece until the snow clears, where I can go and find some, you know, that I know is not rounded off. That's the reality of these types of situations. If Larry and I, we don't have a production crew that will plant items for us to find. It just doesn't work that way. I'm not going to be able to find food just right over the hill, you know, waiting for me to pick it up and grab it and eat it. I'm not going to find the perfect piece of quartz over there waiting for me to grab it. I don't have anybody to plant this stuff. What you see is what you get. Everything that I've done here today, I'm out here by myself with the items that you've seen, and that's it. Plain and simple. So sometimes, even though we think we have a plan in our head, it may not work out. I'm going to keep my eyes open and hope that I find another better piece or a way to break this. But as it stands right now, I don't have a way to break this. Therefore, I do not have a way to achieve flint and steel. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed another episode of Clothed and Confident. This has been a fun one. It's definitely fun to open a box and have no idea what's going to be inside and try to figure out how to make those items work for you if you're ever in a situation like this. The scissors worked out pretty good. I didn't have to use them for, any kind of carving or anything like that, but they worked good for gathering tinder and bedding material. The duct tape did its job, lined that box really nice. Held water. It dripped a little bit, but who cares? It still held the water. Then I don't have to make multiple trips back to the river. Let's see, what else was in there? The garbage liner. I would have used it in the beginning and used it as a liner of the box had it had been one that was unscented and heavy duty. But the fact that this one is one that my wife just grabbed obviously from underneath our kitchen sink and smells pretty and all that fun stuff, I'm not going to drink water from that. There's not a whole lot I can do with that bag without really ripping it up because they're not built tough. That's all there is to it. I could use it as a bed liner, but I'm really going to poke holes in it. So something like that, I think in this particular moment would be best for me just to leave it, just in case it warmed up, started raining, something along those lines. Now as far as the purse itself goes, that's where you guys come in. Let me get some feedback from you guys. What would you do with this nice pink purse? I mean, yeah. Signaling devices, obviously. Use it as a regular haversack. I don't know. Let me get your guys' input because I'd really like to hear what you have to say. Like I said, I've never been put in a situation where I had to use a purse. So anyway, Larry, I hope you enjoy the items that you got. I wanted to send you a few things that might make you turn red a little bit, but I decided ultimately to send you some pretty good things. I think you can do a lot of really good stuff with what I sent you. I mean, I would really, if I ever found myself in a situation like this, I would gladly take the items that I sent you. I would gladly take the items that you sent me. I mean, obviously, I'm able to achieve a lot of stuff with what I have, so. And then scavenging what you can find, like that cooler. There's another can sitting right over here next to me. And trash is everywhere because people are assholes. That's all there is to it. They think that they need to throw their garbage everywhere in nature. So I come out here, try to shoot a video, come out here with minimal gear, I end up trudging back home with trash, trying to clean up the area. So, anyway, this has been a fun episode. It's been a lot of work. This little shelter behind me was more work than people think. This is something that if I was going to be out here long term or anything, obviously I'd keep working on it. But I threw it up just to get out of the wind, get out of the snow, because it was snowing pretty decent at the moment. And I was just afraid that it might warm up and turn to water. But the temperature has stayed. Actually, it feels like it might have gotten a little bit colder. I don't know. And it's definitely done its job. If I had to stay the night out here tonight, I would be happy in there. I really, truly would. It's not bad. It's nice and cozy. Larry and I actually wanted to make this video an overnight video, but we just couldn't do it. I mean, Larry had things that he's got going on. I've got things that I've got going on. It doesn't always line up with our schedules. And it's unfortunate because this would be a really good video to do an overnighter on. But
that's the way it is. We don't get paid to do this. You know, we do this for fun. We have jobs and everything else that we have to return to. Now, if there's anybody out there that wants to pay Larry and I to do this kind of thing, by all means, then we'll stay the night. So, anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Clothing Confident. I truly look forward to making another one. These are a lot of fun. I really enjoy all your guys' support and feedback from these. So, Larry, I hope you had fun. You guys, take care.